In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to transfer files from a remote Linux system to your local PC. So for this tutorial, we are going to focus on a Linux-based local PC. I'll make a tutorial later for Windows users. All right, so let's take a look at this scenario here. So I have my remote Linux server here, or system, and then I want to transfer this directory as well as contents in this directory to my PC. So that's what I'm going to do in this tutorial. So for the transfer or for the copying, we use the protocol SCP. And then we indicate our source and then our destination. Okay, so here the source becomes our remote Linux system and then the destination becomes a local PC. Okay, so I will show you a number of things here, so just pay attention and then you'll be fine. So for the source, in this case, it becomes our remote Linux server and the destination becomes our local PC. And so because of that, if you are going to use SCP, you need to get the IP address of the remote system, which I'll show by the way, and then you can proceed. You can also use a host name. It depends on how the server has been configured. So just make sure to get the right information from your system admin. So in my case, I'm going to transfer or copy the files from the remote Linux system to this directory of mine here. All right, I'm already in that directory. That's where I am now. I'll later do a PWD to show you. All right, so to transfer, all right, we need to indicate the IP address, and then let's just take a look at something. So for the remote server, I need to indicate the user name as well as the IP address. So to go something like this, user @ and I give the address, then I bring a colon and I bring the path to the file or files or directory, or it depends on what you want at the end of the day, or directory or whatever. I'll show you a number of things here, a number of scenarios here, by the way. So this is how we do it, and then you bring your // here means that we are copying to our current working directory. That's what it means. So for now, I want you to follow this one and then you'll be fine. So this is how it's going to be. This is how the syntax is going to be. All right, so the address here becomes our IP address and we bring the path directory of files here. So it's that simple, but I want you to follow me, especially if you are new to this kind of environment. All right, so let's get back to our virtual environment, which is here. There's something I want to show you. We need to get a path. All right, so I have my first A directory here. So if I want to transfer the directory and its contents, I need a path for this. If I have to transfer this file here, I need a path for it. So I have opened another session here for that server. I have logged in remotely by SSH. And then this is my username there. And then let's just do an ls to look at something here. So currently I'm in the first A directory. Let me do a PWD again. Let's do a cd back. Just follow. Yeah, now you can proceed. So let's first do an ls. So this is the first A directory that I want to transfer or copy, as well as its content, everything. So if I want to transfer this directory, then I need a path for this directory. So if it's a directory like this, you can cd into it, then do pwd. That will give you the path to that directory. Now there's another way to get the path of directories. All right, so let's cd back, do an ls. We have this first A directory. So if I want to get a path of this directory in Linux, I'll say rel path and I'll say first A. That's the directory. So if I execute this command, I'll get a path. So there's the path, everything. So this one here, what I've highlighted, will in our command replace this one here, because we are transferring the directory, or we are copying the directory and its contents, everything here. All right, so that's what we are going to do. Now there are other things we need to add, but this is the generic approach which we will later add on. All right, yeah, let's even make it false. There may be some slight variations, but it will be fine. I'll show you everything. All right. Okay, now let's proceed. So let's start the business itself. Okay, so supposing I want to transfer this directory and its contents, everything, then let me just copy this. I'll clear everything first. All right, I made mention that I'm currently in one directory here, which is this one. I do an ls, there's nothing there. All right, this is it. All right, so if I want to transfer the directory and its contents, I'll say SCP, and then I'll say -r, and then I'll bring my user, which is bioinfo-coach, at the IP address, which is 192.168.2.203. Then I bring a colon, and then I bring the path to that direction. I'll say /. Now earlier on, when I indicated a generic SCP command, I didn't bring -r. Okay, the -r is used if you are transferring a directory and its contents. That's where this comes in. But if it's a file, you don't need it. So that's why I didn't bring it in the first place. But if it's a directory, like in this situation, then you need to bring your -r. It's very, very important. Okay, I'll show you different scenarios, so don't worry. This is just for the start. So we are now transferring a directory. So to transfer a directory and its contents from a remote server to your local PC, then this is how you do it. All right, so let's do this. Let's execute the command. So now if you execute the command, then you have to enter your password. And then everything is transferred. So now if I do an ls, I'm going to find a directory on my system called fast-a. I can ls into it to see the files. Okay, so everything has been done nicely for me. So we can also check the progress here, 100, 100, 100. I'll later make a tutorial where I show how to also fix broken SSH transfers. Sometimes when you are transferring, maybe due to network interruptions, you may not be able to download, or you may not be able to copy completely all the files. So there's a way to resume it without having to restart all over. I'll show you that in another tutorial. But if you also have urgent need for that, just send me a message and then we can work it out. All right. So this is how we transfer a directory and its contents to our PC using SCP when we have a local Linux-based system. All right. Now let's take a look at individual files. Let's come back here. So let's say, let's cd into the fast-a directory. Let's say ls. Let's say we want to transfer gens.fast-a. Let's take a look at it in the virtual environment. I think it was locked up. Let's just open it. All right. So this is the fast-a directory. Let's open it. And then this is the gens.fast-a. So I want to transfer, I want to copy this file, just this file. All right. So to do that, I need to get a path again. Because I'm already in the fast-a directory, I do pwd, and then I'll get the path to the directory. So what I can do is to add / and then I add a file name. So the path for this file becomes /home/bioinfocoach /fasta/gens.fasta. Alternatively, you can use the real path command and say gens.fasta. So this will give you the path to that file, and then you can use it. So I'll use this part. Now I'll do a copy and paste. All right. So if I want to transfer a file, let's just clear the screen. Let's do an ls. So if I want to transfer a file, like in this case, this file here, I want to transfer it. I want to copy it from my remote Linux server to my local PC. Then it becomes SCP bioinfocoach, that's the username, at 192.168.2.203. I bring my colon. I bring the path to that file, and I will say /. Let's execute this command. All right, so we can now type our password and hit the enter button. So the file has been transferred. So if I do an ls, I'm going to find the file here. So that's how we do it. All right, now let's take a look at something here. So some servers have been configured in such a way that you have to specify a port. By default, SCP uses port 22, but some servers will use a different port for security reasons. And so if you want to copy files or transfer files from a remote system which has the port configured or which uses a different port, okay, which has changed the default port, then there's also a way to do it. So I'll show you that scenario also here. So again, I have a different IP address I'll use. So for this web server, I have another IP address for it, and then it's also configured to use a particular port. So I'll show you that approach also here. So this time around, what we are going to do is to transfer this file. Let's use this one. This one is shorter. So if you want to transfer and you have a port, that's how we do it. Let's just clear the screen and continue. Yeah, so I'll proceed. So to transfer files from a remote Linux server which has a port or which does not use the default ports, then that's how we do it. So we say SCP and you say -p. The P should be uppercase, and then you indicate the ports. So mine, the port is 3022. Before you bring the paths, the address and the path to that file. All right, so it becomes bioinfocoach at, now say 127.0.0.1. I bring my colon, and then the rest is just the path. Let me get the path here. The path to that file. So there's the path. I'll just copy and paste. And then /. That means that I'm transferring to my current working directory. All right, so that's how we do it. So let's execute this command. All right, so let's enter our password. Yeah, so now we have it done. All right, so this is how we transfer files, okay, from a remote system to our Linux-based PC. There are other things you can do here. So because we are transferring from a Linux system, you can also use the workhouse. You can use patterns. For example, if you want to transfer files that end with .fasta, you can still do that using your other Linux commands as well. I mean, there are other things you can do, but this is the basic tutorial that I thought you will be, that will be of benefit to you, especially for beginners. So once you are done with this, then what you have to do is to build upon it. So here, if let's say you were transferring a directory, then you can indicate a -r also somewhere here. And also you can transfer and then also rename. Now let's try this. Let's say we are transferring. So if let's say I'm transferring and then I want to change the name of this one, let's say to file.fasta, I can do that here. Then I can execute it. So all that I have to do is to enter my password and then it will be done. All right. The same thing with directories. Let's just revisit this one. Okay. So here, if let's say it's a different IP address, I'll just say 127.0.0.1. And then this one also had an IP. So I'll say -p 3022. So here I bring my IP address, I bring my -r, indicates that I'm transferring the directory. And then when I come here, I can just say, let's say, first A, this is a different name. I can issue it this way. And then I'll execute the command, enter my password, and then voila, everything has been transferred. So this is how we do the transfer from a remote Linux system to a Linux-based system. All right. So I'll be making more content on the file transfers between a Linux system and other PCs. And so just make sure to come back to this channel to watch more of such tutorials. So I'll see you in the next session.